Okay, pre-algebra, this is the rest of your test review for your test tomorrow. So the first one is 33, and here you're going to be finding x and y intercepts. So remember how you do that is you make a table of values with only 2 rows. Okay? So the first one would be the x-intercept, which is where you have a 0 for y, and the second one is the y-intercept where there's a 0 for x. So what you'll do is to find the x-intercept, this empty box right here, you're going to put a 0 in for y in the equation and then solve for x, and that's your x-intercept. So we go x plus 4 times 0 equals 8, and 4 times 0 is 0, so that just means that x equals 8. So we put an 8 there, so that 8 is your x-intercept. For the y-intercept, we're going to put a 0 in for x and find out what y equals. So that means we'd have 0 plus 4y equals 8, which means that just goes away, and we divide by 4 on both sides, and we'd end up with y equals 2. So we'd put a 2 in for y. And that's it on number 33. On 34, it's still finding x and y intercepts, so we're going to do the same thing. I'll make a table of values with just 2 rows. One of them will have 0 for y, and that'll be the x-intercept. The other one will have 0 for x, and that'll be the y-intercept. So again, you're going to plug in a 0 for the y to find the x-intercept. So we go 7x plus 3 times 0 equals negative 21. That just becomes 0, so it's like it just goes away. So we have 7x equals negative 21. And if we divide by 7, that would mean that x would equal negative 3. So the x-intercept here is negative 3. I need to erase this. Okay, so to find the y-intercept, we're going to put a 0 in for the x. So we'd have 7 times 0 plus 3y equals negative 21. Okay, so 7 times 0 would just go away. And so we just divide by 3. Divide by 3, and so y would equal negative 7. So I'll put a negative 7 in there. On 35, you're still just finding x and y intercepts. And so, again, we're just going to make a table. And we'll do that. Put a 0 in for y for the x-intercept, a 0 in for x for the y-intercept. So to find the x, we'd have 6x minus 4 times 0 equals 12. That would cancel out, and we'd have 6x equals 12. So dividing by 6, we'd get x equals 2. So the x-intercept is 2. To find the y-intercept, we do the same thing, but plug in a 0 for the x. So we'd have 6 times 0 minus 4y equals 12. 6 times 0 is just 0, so we're left with a minus 4y equals 12. So we'd have to divide by negative 4. Don't forget to do that. That negative's there. It doesn't go away when you do 6 times 0. And so 12 divided by negative 4. So y would equal negative 3. So the y-intercept there is negative 3. Looking at number 36, on this one you're determining if a point is the solution. So this time what you do, you don't have to move anything around at all. You're just going to be plugging in your values for x and y into your equation to see if each of these points is a solution. So we have an 8 for y, so we're going to go 8 equals negative 3 times negative 2 plus 2. And then we just solve it to see if this works out. So we just do negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. And then we just keep going, and 6 plus 2 is 8, and we end up with a true statement. So this one is a point on the line. Okay. So looking at the next one, 5, negative 17. So that means y is negative 17, so we put that in for y, equals negative 3 times 5 plus 2. And negative 3 times 5 is negative 15 plus 2. Okay, so we leave this negative 17 over here, and then we just continue solving this. And negative 15 plus 2 means that the signs are different. This one's negative, this one's positive, so we subtract. And 15 minus 2 is 13. And use the sign of the bigger number. 15 is bigger than 2, so it's negative 13. This is not equal, so that means 5 negative 17 is not on the line. Okay? And then looking at the last one, 2, 4. We're going to put in a 4 for the y, and then a 2 for the x, and then just go ahead and continue. So we'd have 4 equals negative 3 times 2 is negative 6 plus 2, and negative 6 plus 2 means that the signs are different, so we subtract, which is 4, and then 6 is the bigger number, so it's negative 4. And again, 4 is not equal to negative 4, so this one is not on the line. Looking at number 37, we're going to do the same thing with this one, doing it algebraically. So this time we're going to be plugging in negative 4, or we have this is our x column, this is our y, so we'll plug in negative 4 for the y. So it goes negative 4 equals 5 times negative 1 minus 1. And 5 times negative 1 is negative 5 minus 1. And here we have signs are the same, so we're going to add and keep the same sign. You can also think of that negative 5 minus 1 is negative 5 plus a negative 1. And then you can really see that you're going to add. And since negative 4 does not equal negative 6, this one is not a point on the line. Looking at the next one, we're going to plug in 4 and 19 for x and y, so I'm going to go 19 for y equals 5, and then times 4 for the x minus 1. Then I just keep going and do the math. 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, so we have 19, and then 20 minus 1 is 19. Since this is true, then this one is a point on the line, so you'd write yes. Okay, and the last one. 2, negative 11, we'll put the negative 11 in for y. And then we're going to go 5 times negative 2 minus 1. And 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, and then we'd have minus 1. And so negative 10 minus 1, the signs are the same, so we add, keep the same sign. And since negative 11 equals negative 11, that's true, then this is a point on the line, so you'd write yes again. Okay, let's look at number 38. This is one where we're going to do it by graphing, so we're not going to have to plug in the values here. What we're going to do is we're going to graph this line using slope-intercept form, and then we'll just see if each of these points is actually on the line. So first thing we do is we look at this and we graph it. We have a y-intercept of 1. That's this right here, the y-intercept. So I'm going to put a dot at the 1 on the graph. Switch colors here. And then we'll do the slope of negative 2. This is our slope, so that means down 2 over 1. And then I'll do it again, down 2 over 1. And since I don't have a ruler on here, it's not going to be perfect, but we'll do the best we can. So there's my line. And now I look to see if each of these points is on the line. Okay, so negative 2, 3 means we're going to go this way 2 and then up 3. And you can clearly see that that is not on the line, so this one is no. 0, 1 means we don't go left or right, we just go straight up to right there, and that's obviously a point because it's right there on the y-intercept, so that's yes. And then 3, negative 5 would go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And my line looks pretty straight, so I do think that is on the line. If we look at this point and we do the slope again, down 2 over 1, you can see that that is a point. So that's a yes as well. Let's look at the last one. And we're going to graph the line. So we do the y-intercept of negative 2. Put that right there. And we'll do the slope of negative 1/2, so that means down 1 over 2, then down 1 over 2 again. I'm running low on time, so I'm going to try to hurry. Okay, so 4, negative 4 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is right on a point, so that's a yes. Negative 2, 0 means the left 2 and not up or down, and that is not on the line, so that's no. and then 2, negative 1 would be to the right 2 and down 1. That is also not a line, so that's no. And that's it. I'm out of time, so I hope that helps.